Hello everybody on YouTube, this is Brandon Parker with another tutorial. Today I'm going to be doing this tutorial in Final Cut. The reason why I decided to do this tutorial today on Final Cut is because I feel like I think there should be more tutorials like this in Final Cut, like tutorials for people who want to do fan videos or whatever in Final Cut, and they think Final Cut is extremely hard to use. I don't see any simple tutorials in Final Cut, so I decided, well, I'll just do another Final Cut tutorial and make this as simple as possible. And also, I'm YouTube partner now, so I can make my videos a lot longer, so I can do a really good tutorial. So what I'm going to do in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use Final Cut and explain a lot more things in Final Cut and what you can do in it. Now, what I have is a project that I started in Final Cut. It's a fan video project for one of my accounts, which is a fan video account, where I really don't care if I get copyrighted on that account, because on certain accounts, if you want to be YouTube partner, you can't do videos where you're going to get copyrighted if you want to be YouTube partner. But if you don't really care about being a YouTube partner, then doing videos that have copyrights to them and you're going to get copyrighted in those videos doesn't apply to you for the YouTube partner situation. So if you're someone who has an account that doesn't care about anything that happens to that account, just then here's a video for you, and here's how to do fan videos and stuff like that, because there's a lot of formats that you're gonna have to know with Final Cut. Like, you're gonna have to know that you're gonna either have to put your video in .mov or you're gonna have to download a codec, which in my first Final Cut tutorial I told you how to download the codec, the div codec, which allows you to do AVI files in Final Cut. It allows you to play them, watch them, and edit them in Final Cut and iMovie if you want to mess around with AVI files. But I recommend that you should where I recommend is that what you do is you change the file format to .mov, because the reason I'm saying that is because if you keep the files in AVI, you're going to get the div codec logo, and if you get the div codec logo, you're either going to either have to accept that being in your videos, or you're going to have to cover it up like I'm doing right now in this video. The reason why I decided to stick with the div codec logo is because, like, this is a TV series, so and I tried, and there's no way of getting this file found on the internet and downloaded on the internet in .mov or whatever format that Mac likes to use. So you're just gonna have to accept that. You're either gonna have to accept it and accept the div logo popping up, or you're either gonna have to spend a lot of hours waiting for the files. Like, if you have all the episodes from, like, say if it's a TV series that has that has a lot of episodes, and you're just downloading them, and then the episodes have already been aired on TV, and then you search for them and you waited. Like, if you got it, all the episodes, like if you started early, like when the first episode just came out, then you can quickly change it into .mov, and then when you get another one the next time, when the next episode airs, then you would do that. But since, like, you're someone like me and you started downloading the episodes right after a few episodes had came out, then you're gonna have a problem of waiting hours and hours for it to transfer the files into .mov. So I just don't feel like doing that, so I just keep the files in AVI, and I just deal with the div codec logo. And so what I'm going to do is show you how I did this. I'm going to show you a little bit of how much similar this is to Sony Vegas if you were a Sony Vegas user and you had Windows. And I'm also going to show you that rendering is different in this program than it is in Sony Vegas. Okay, what I'm going to show you is, first let me bring in some more light so you can see me a lot better. Turn on the big light. Alright. Okay, and then I'm going to show you that what you can do here in Final Cut, and show you the similarities to Sony Vegas. Okay, now this is what I have done so far in this video. And this is a special intro that I did for this video. The reason why I created this intro is because I gotten some plugins that I found online that I downloaded, and that's how come I could do a fancy intro like that in Final Cut. It also works well with Adobe After Effects too. If you have the effects package, which is called the Effects Factory, and it's for Final Cut and Adobe After Effects. But for the Adobe After Effects, it has to be the Adobe After Effects that's on your Mac. You can't be the Adobe After Effects for Windows. Okay. As you can tell, I added a lot of transitions and I added a lot of little bit of effects in there, but not too much where it is too drastic and it's too like flashy and everything. I just wanted to add some different effects in there, but not too much. Like as you can tell, as you were watching a little bit of the video, you can see like kind of a little bit of a motion blur. Well, it's not really a motion blur, it's this plugin right in here, this filter, because Final Cut doesn't really call well, they are called effects, but they also call them filters. So just think of when you're working in Final Cut that they're also called filters and effects. And the plugin that looks like motion blur is this plugin right in here. It's a time plugin. Okay, it's right here in time. This plugin right here, this folder, and it's called wide time, and the effect looks like, oh, so I'll go to it. It looks like it's a motion blur, and I'll go to a clip that hasn't. It's right in here. It's right here. Okay, and this is where I added the wide time. It looks like a motion blur, but it actually isn't. You can add motion blur here in Final Cut, but this effect that I added is not a motion blur effect. It's an effect called the wide time effect. And like the time effect, pretty much all of these are pretty much the same. They work a little different than each other, but they're pretty much the same thing. But the one I like to use a lot that is similar to motion blur is the wide time. And here's what it looks like. What you can do with the wide time. With wide time, it kind of changes the video lighting. You're gonna have to bring up the contrast of the video. You're gonna have to like say either you're gonna have to, like, if you have like a background or whatever on top of your video, like I kind of have like a texture on top of the video. It's overlaid, and you can pretty much do what you do in Sony Vegas. You can do pretty much the same thing. Like the texture that I have that is overlaid on top of the video clips is this texture right here. And what I did with it is, I'm gonna go and show it. And this is the texture, and I kind of changed it up a little bit. I modified the composition mode, and I made it to be overlay. And this is and then it will look like that when it's overlaid. It comes out pretty nice. It gives out a nice like feel to the video, and it doesn't like change it too much to where you can't really see the video clips, but it keeps the niceness of it, and it also gives it a different look. And also too, what you can do here that's similar to Sony Vegas is you could add, let's say you want to add your username, you could add one. But what I say the easiest way to add a username here in Final Cut is to manually create is to create one in Photoshop. because if you go into the effects tab, and I'm just gonna go out into the open area of the video and show you why it's better to create your username if you want it throughout the whole video. To create it in Photoshop, the reason I'm going to show you that it's better for Photoshop is because if you do it this way, you go to text, now you go to this one, and then first what we're going to do is we're going to open this, and then we're going to go to controls, and then you're going to type in your username. My username is MasterSim88, but I don't want to add my numbers of my username, so I'm just going to leave it as that, and I'm going to capitalize it. Yeah. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the type of text that I want, which I would probably use is this one. And you can download different fonts for your Mac, just like you can Windows. You just search in Google and you can get different fonts. And if you want a separate tutorial on how to download and add fonts to your Mac, I could do a tutorial on that. It's not really hard to install fonts on your Mac. It's way easier than Windows. But I can still do a tutorial in it if you can't figure it out. So what I'm going to show you is on the text is that go to motion, and I'm going to go, I'm going to go to motion. But first what I'm going to do is bring out the motion tab so that I can show you. Then I'm going to go to archer point, and I'm going to show you why it's difficult. Because if you want to change the position of it, it's kind of hard. You're going to have to play around with the numbers to make them, and see, it really doesn't really do anything, and then you have to change the scale, and it's just really hard to move it around a little bit. And actually it also doesn't really come out as nice as it would if you created it in Photoshop. But you can like mess around with the scale if you want to move it around, and you could just play around with the archer point, but it's a little bit difficult to get it to the exact point that you're looking for. You can also change it to a negative position. You see, like I said there, it really doesn't really... Okay, now you go here. You just play around with this. You're gonna have to make the number a lot higher, almost to like 1,000 pretty much. Like 1,400 to get it to where you want it. 4,000 or like 5,000, even like 9,000 maybe. Yeah, the smaller you make it, the higher the numbers you're gonna have to move these to. You're gonna have to move this to like 0 to bring it all the way back up. You're gonna have to get it to like 9,000, and then it'll get it to about right where you want it on the video. And you're gonna probably have to move it a lot more. Like say if you kept it in AVI format and you didn't feel like waiting for hours for it to go into MOV, you're just gonna have to accept that you're gonna either have to see the div logo, or you're either gonna have to block it or whatever, or like I said, change the file format. And that's pretty much it on how you mess around with adding your username in Final Cut, if you want to do it within the program. But I think it's a lot better if you just get rid of this and just do it this way. Just add it manually like this. I'll go to the beginning of it. Added your own that you created in Photoshop, because it makes it a lot easier. You just go right in here, and it's a lot easier to scale it, move it around and everything and stuff like that if you had created it in Photoshop. But if you don't have Photoshop or really don't know how to use Photoshop, then doing it in this program is okay. It'll just be a lot harder to scale it down, to put it in the position that you want, and to change the point, archer point and everything. So I'd say, like I said, I'd say it's better if you have Photoshop to create it in Photoshop. And you can also make it a lot better if you had it in Photoshop. And also, I added a little logo on top that I found online, a little cool logo. that I like to add in my videos when I'm doing a fan video. And that's pretty much how you do anything with text and adding usernames on your videos. And to show you how I did my intro, I got this plugin called Yanbox MoType, and it came with the FX Factory. And FX Factory is not a free it's not free a plugin package. You're gonna have to pay for it. You search online and you search for FX Factory. There probably is ways to get it for free, but I didn't get it for free. I got it on their website. And when I was searching for plugins for Final Cut, because I wanted something like the new blue effects, and the new blue effects do work in Final Cut, but you can't get that for free. So I just decided, well, I'll just see what else is out there for Mac that's a lot cheaper, and I went searching for the FX Factory package, and it's pretty much the same thing that you get with the new blue effects, except it comes with a lot more effects and everything. And this is just how I did. I just used that Yanbox MoType plugin, and that's how I created my intro to the video. You can do it differently. If you have different kinds of texts and stuff like that, you could move them around. Like, I'll go back to the text that I had just did, and I'll show you. You can add it manually. You just go to text, and you go to, okay, right here, and you could, like, also the same way you could change the position and have it move at a certain time. This area is like the area in Sony Vegas where you do the event pan and crop. Well, this is kind of like that. You work in here and you add your points of where you want to move it. So you want it to be right there, and then you move it at this time. You want it to go here, and then it'll move at that time. And then I'll show you when it actually moved it, zoomed it in. And I'll just cut it down a little bit. To right about here. And it depends, like certain stuff that you're working with in Final Cut, you're gonna have to render your files if you get the red bar on top, and I'll show you that here in a second. That's how you move you get your text to move and stuff at certain times. You just, and then like I said, I'm going to show you how to render your files. Rendering, like I said, is different. It doesn't happen at the end of the video when you're finished and you want to process it and put it on sites like YouTube, watch it on your computer or whatever. That's not how rendering works. Rendering only happens when you're editing, and this is how rendering happens. I'm going to get a clip right here. Alright, and then I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to paste it. And there's shortcuts in here. To copy, you go to Command C, and then to paste it it's Command V, or you just right click it and paste it. That's what I usually do, is just right click it and paste it. And see this little red red line on top? That's telling you have to render the video file out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take what I want from the clip, which is right about here. That looks like a good spot. Okay. And then I'm going to put it right on top of where I want it to happen, which is right about here. I'll probably close it in a lot more. See? And then I'm going to add the transition I want. I'm going to probably add this transition. And you double click the transition if you want the same transition that you were using in previous clips before this one. You just double click that, then you go up in here and you drag it down here. And it'll also be the exact same size as the last one that whatever one that you clicked on. And if you want to change the size or whatever, even if you thought that was the size you wanted, but you decided you don't want that to be the size of the transition, you just close it in or bring it out. I'm going to close it in just a little bit to probably right about there. I'm going to go to sequence and you go to render all. Make sure you go to render all and go to both, because it's a lot easier if you just go to render all and do both, so that it gets everything that was read, and it'll get the audio and everything. Because also, if you're adding audio, you're gonna have to render the audio only for the first time when you work with the audio that you have to render it. Like the only time you will need to render the audio more than once is if you're resizing the audio. Like say if you only got like 10 seconds of the audio, but then you decided you want to have more than 10 seconds of the audio, then that's when you have to render it again. But if you're just using the whole song or whatever, then you don't need to worry about rendering out the song again. You just do it once. And now, because I render it, I can view my file and it won't have the need to render thing that will pop up. That's nice. Also, the transition that I have is a part of the FX package that I got, but a lot of the basic ones are pretty nice. They're similar to the ones in Sony Vegas, like the ones that I was using before I got the FX Factory plugins. Is the additive, cross dissolve, dip to color, deether dissolve, fade in, fade out dissolve, and non-additive. I was using this one a lot until I got the FX Factory plugins. And FX Factory comes with some freebies that are for free. You can probably go and search online FX Factory. I'll put that in the description, and I'll show you. And you can download them. You can get the free trial, and you can test them out and stuff like that. And that's pretty much it on this tutorial. I just wanted to show you a little bit how to do a fan video. I'll show you a lot more in my next tutorial. And that's it. Comment, rate, subscribe, and like I said, I'm YouTube partner, so I can do a lot longer videos, and I wanted to test that out today. So that's it. See you later in my next tutorial in Final Cut or either Sony Vegas, but I'll be doing a lot more Final Cut tutorials with fan videos and stuff like this, because a lot of people don't know how to use Final Cut, and I think it's a lot better if I did a lot more tutorials in Final Cut, because I don't see a lot of easy tutorials in Final Cut. So yep, that's pretty much it. Comment, rate, subscribe, and see you next time in my next tutorial. Alright, see you later.